Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing mono blue Merfolk with no reserve list cards. We are rocking this new card, Silvergill Mentor. I'm going to read the text. It's 1 blue, 1 colorless for a Merfolk creature, 2/1 stats. As an additional cost to cast this spell, behold a Merfolk or pay 2 colorless. So you just behold a Merfolk by choosing one you already have in play or revealing one from your hand. And then, when this creature enters, create a 1/1 white and blue Merfolk creature token. So it's 2 bodies for the price of 1. One's a 2/1, one's a 1/1. But that's a huge deal when you have Master of the Pearl Trident, when you have Lord of Atlantis, when you have Vidolian Hexcatcher to make that little token into like a 3/3 over the next few turns. So I think this is actually a really big shot in the arm. It may seem like a really simple uncommon, but it is pretty strong, I think. So adding to that, we've got some additional utility Merfolk. Silvergill Adept is a body that potentially draws you a card. Merfolk Trickster can just straight up kill a Urza's Saga construct. It can also do really cool things with Baragorn. Just once Baragorn is declared block, you just Trickster, and then it loses all its abilities. It becomes a 0/1 and just dies. It's pretty sweet. So that's a good answer to Baragorn. In the sideboard, we also have Flood Pit Drowner. We can board out the forces in just like pure aggro matchups and board in the Flood Pit Drowners. We also have Tide Shaper, which is a cool ability to color screw your opponents. And we've got Rishadan Dockhand, which can color screw your opponents, but it can also mana screw your opponents, deny them constructs. It can do a lot of stuff. It's pretty cool. So this is in here because I wanted to have lots of 1-drops. We need at least probably 12 1-drop cards. We want to be doing something every single turn of the game. You may be wondering, okay, where's the True Name Nemesis? Where's the Harbinger of the Seas? They're in the sideboard. We're hoping to close game 1 really quickly, and then based on the matchup, we can bring in some Flood Pit Drowner for our forces, or we can bring in Force Negations and take out some small creature that's not going to be impactful, like if we're up against combo. And then we've got Harbinger of the Seas here if we're up against like Beanstalk or some land strategy, some big mana strategy, and we've got True Name Nemesis. We've got 3 of each. So 3, I think, is the right number where you'll draw 1, but you won't draw 2. And then I've got Damping Sphere just as a good kind of anti-storm, anti-big mana card that you don't necessarily want to draw more than 1 of, so it's a perfect 1 of. So very simple deck, very budget friendly as well. I think you can build this deck for less than like maybe $500, $600. Force Negation is kind of expensive. Force of Will, of course, is expensive, but Wasteland's only like $10 now if you get like the cheap printing. And then we've got Cavern of Souls here, which could just be islands. But I decided, like, if they're wasting us, we're probably winning. I did want to play a total of 20 mana sources. So we do have Sink into Stupor here, doubling as mana sources. But hopefully we just can use these to bounce problematic permanents back to the hand or stop key spells. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. The first round has already started. My opponent plays a broad range of decks. I played them the other day. I can't remember what they were on, but like they could have changed. I've certainly changed since I was last playing. This is a great hand. This is a lot of mana sources. Is it a great hand? I think it's okay because we can turn 1 Vial, which we definitely want to do. We can waste them, and we can hopefully probably just hold on to Sink. If we draw another island, we can cast that. I'm not going to throw this back. Hopefully Dockhand can color screw them. Dockhand has native Island Walk, and the real good thing about it is it's a 1-drop that has 2 toughness, so it doesn't die to Bowmasters, which is a pretty important criteria for creatures in this deck. Let's go ahead and just stick our Vial, see if they want to force. They should force if they have a force. They don't. Okay. As I like to say, force now or forever hold your force, but we may actually give them further opportunities to force things if we want to cast like Silvergill on curve. Street Wraith. Okay, so I think they're maybe on the Moon Life. They could be on Doomsday. We're going to pressure them a lot, but it may not be enough if they just have a quick Doomsday kill. Doomsday has gotten so much more efficient, and it's a real menace in the format right now. I think almost certainly Doomsday, like Moonshadow is the other deck that would play this, but you wouldn't just do it before you played your Moonshadow. Yeah, this is great. Please take one of my random cards that don't matter. Silvergill Mentor is definitely the best card, and that's the one they took. All right, so unfortunately, we don't have a lot going on. It looks like Wasteland's not going to be particularly strong here. All right. Thoughtseize bug. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and cast it. Get our body on the table. And I could just reveal the Richardon port. I'm not sure how this works, but I think I just revealed this. Yeah, that works. Okay. And I can just play this at any point. It doesn't really matter. There's no point in playing it right now because I can just activate this later. They shouldn't be able to stop it unless they're playing Stifle, which would be fine if they were wanted to use a Stifle, just delaying the arrival of our dockhand by a turn. We can't use the ability when it first comes in anyway. There is the Moonshadow. Okay, so they are on Moonshadow. We're going to need to get... Oh, they have double Moonshadow, which makes it all the more sad that they had to throw away a Street Wraith maybe to find a land. They have a very aggressive hand here, but we can bounce a Moonshadow back to hand later. I'll go ahead and put this out. So, if they have another Street Wraith, it's pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and tech up this vial, and we'll see what we draw. I do think we smash. I am not going to live in fear of a Street Wraith here. They want to trade off with my Merfolk token, that's fine. One Moonshadow will see the other, but they're both going to die simultaneously in combat. Silvergill is great, but we don't... Oh, wait, we can just vial it in. That's so good. So good. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I just want to get my card. Draw a trigger. Oh, so freaking good. So good. We do have to kind of play it out before we attack, though. But we should just play it out. And, right? Yeah, we do. So I'm just going to play it out before combat to max damage. And then next turn, we can bounce one of these Moonshadows back to hand if they manage to tech them up. We are going very wide and we are going very hard. They're opting not to block. They dropped a 9. They're going to need a pretty spectacular turn here because we do have the sink. I'm trying to think of what they could draw here. Everything is 2 toughness now, so Bowmaster doesn't do it. They do have a fetch to trigger their Moonshadow. They're not attacking. That's great for us. Can I always know this? Always yield to this trigger. You used to be able to say always no, but it doesn't look like it's giving us that option anymore. So there's no reason to tech this up beyond 2. 2 is the highest curve we have in our deck. So we have a dockhand. I think these just sink into super in combat, and let's go ahead and come across with everybody. Whichever one blocks the master, I'll just send it back to hand. I'm trying to think, is there any trap that they could have here? I don't think so. They could fatal push this, but whatever they put on the stack, I could also just bounce that back to hand. So we'll see how they block. I'm fine with just taking one of their Moonshadows. I think this is... we could just sink this back to hand. And then they're going to have to make a pretty unfavorable trade here somewhere. They're only going to be able to fetch once. They could have a fatal push. What could they have? They could put this back in their hand. They know about the sink of the super. I think I just forced them to trade off some of these. But then when they cast this the second time, they can't ping down what I'm going to do. So let's think about this. So realistically, they're probably just going to block this. And maybe this. Probably this. They'll probably block the ones that do the most damage. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Send it back to their hand. Where they can't cast it again. Now they have to make unfavorable trades. I think they block here just to kill this. They're fetching. Both of these trigger. I may have punted somehow. Maybe it's possible there was some better line there. Do you have a fatal push? If they fatal push this, it's pretty bad. But I'm pretty sure they have to block something here. Okay. And now they can ping one of these with their Bowmaster. But we did remove their threats and they're at 1 life. That's pretty good. Yeah, they just ping this and then they have... they can block, but we'll see what they do. This is very much like play draw dynamics. If they were on the play, they'd probably be winning here. But I'm at 20 life and they're at 1, so they've got a long road to kill me as an aggro deck. Bowmaster is going to ping the Silvergill. They have 2 blockers. We don't know what their last card is. Or they have 4 cards over there, but like I assume they've got a bunch of 1-drops because they're choking on mana. Like they're not. Yeah, they're just choked on mana, I believe. Let's see if we can draw a Lord or something. Trickster's pretty good. I think Trickster just wins. Because we just tap one of these and then we can attack through. I'll do a pre-combat. Got it. Trickster's so good. Okay, against this deck, I'm going to just take out my forces completely. And I'm going to bring in Drowners. Any other changes we need to make? Dockhand didn't do anything exceptional there, but just the fact that he's a 1-drop that gets buffed, he helped win. I don't know that True Name is necessary here. They're going to probably be wasting us, and it may be hard to get to 3 mana in time for it to matter. I think we just run it like this. My goal is just to fully deploy my hand. This is a Vile hand. They're not going to be able to force. We've got tons of gas. We could get run over. I'm going to do it, though. Like, you don't throw back Vile hands, in my opinion. They mulled a 5. That's good for us. This isn't even a favorable matchup, I don't think. I think they're actually in a really strong position because our deck is good against blue decks. That's what we farm. Right? And if this is Moonshadow, it's not going to see that going to graveyard. Okay, this is a lot of mana. Barry, that's scary, but I do have Trickster, which will take him down in a couple turns. All right, so I'm going to play this because it can't be disrupted. They are going to get a Berry Crack. And they'll gain some life and fill up their graveyard. But again, like if I can get Trickster out, it's so strong. Because it like you just Trickster this and then you block and then it dies. They're going to see double Trickster and they're going to know my secret's out. I wouldn't have kept Thoughtseize in the deck, frankly. It's just like we're like a unapologetic aggro deck. And you don't want to be hitting yourself and paying money or paying mana for the pleasure. Okay, they did take a Trickster, but we still have one. This is a 4/5 now. So it'll gain a lot of life, and it'll potentially draw a card. We'll see. I think they're likely to find a creature. Depending, like I imagine they're playing at least 16 creatures, maybe 20. They find a Douthie, which is not a super impactful card against us, but it is a clock. This goes up to 5/6. This turn we have Tideshaper and Trickster, which is uncounterable. If they attack, they'll have to have a Fatal Push. Okay, so this is still 5/6 because they revealed the bubble. Okay, let's see what we draw here. All right, that's pretty good. So I think what I do is I mentor, and then I have a second creature. No, wait. Yeah, I definitely need to Tideshaper. So that's just going to be, okay, this will cast Merfolk. Yeah, I think I just have to wait and Trickster if they attack. They already know most of my hand. I would love to turn one of these into an island to get Island Walk. Because they could just hang back with a giant wall. We are going to need to clear this. They may have a Fatal Push here. I'm going to go do this. Check this out. I'm going to double block it so that even if they Fatal Push, this still dies. And this is precisely the kind of, when I was talking in the deck tech about why I wanted to have Trickster in here, why I think it's strong right now. So now they can't Fatal Push to save it. And because it has 0 power, it's not going to Death Touch our dudes. So even if they have Fatal Push here, it just doesn't matter that much. And they knew the risks and they attacked anyway, but like, I think they punted. Because they should have known that I would have a second blocker just in case they had a Fatal Push. And they mulled the 5, like on the strength of Dark Ritual Baragoyf. So our hand lined up extremely well against theirs. And they're not even going to play with the Douthie, which tells me they must have Bowmasters. So they should react to this, I think, with the Bowmaster if they have it. But I do have a Hexcatcher. I don't know if they know about the Hexcatcher, but that will save it. I could Vile again. I don't think that's what we want to do. I think we just want to go ahead and jam. So what I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and stick the Master, and then I'll also Hexcatcher. And they may respond to this with the Bowmaster on the stack, and then I can just Hexcatcher off the Vile. They're going to need a lot of removal if they want to survive this. Douthie wouldn't have even been able to block. That is what I expected. I'm going to wait for them to target. Okay, and now I will just put in my other Lord. And it will absorb the damage. That's fine. And I just won't attack with this one this turn. Because I don't want it to die. Actually, do I even care if they want to throw both of them at it? I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to be daunted. You can double block that if you want. Yep, they choose to. Okay. All right, so next turn we have 2 more bodies. And I could have played these bodies first before playing these out. Moonshadow. So they can amp that up to a 2/2. They do. 1 card in hand. Douthie. Yeah, that was a known card. Okay, and Douthie can't block. I think I just smash with everything. We'll see what I draw. Another Lord would be the nuts. They said, look strong. GG's. Yeah, and I said, Trickster's really good right now. See you in round 2. All right, round 2. We're up against a player who trophied with Painter yesterday. This hand's fine. It's not anything to write home about. It can keep us alive. I like the Vial. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And then what we'll just do is open Vial. You always open Vial if you have it. Frankly, it's just wrong not to. It's just so strong. And Vial's a really rough top deck, but it's a really good card to have in your hand, as we saw in the previous game. All right, Goblin Welder. Do I force Goblin Welder? I don't want to deal with it. They could do Welder shenanigans. I'll force Engineer. But they may have Pyroblast as well, depending on what they draw. Luckily, I don't have any other artifacts in my deck, so they can't swap my Vial for some other artifact. Okay, Urza Saga, that's menacing. Painter's Servant. If I force this, I just have to... But if I don't force it, they can just weld it. So... They basically have me dead in 2 turns with this. And because I didn't force the Welder, not that I could really do anything if I had forced it, but this is a window where I forced and then they had to sacrifice a land to get that back. And that might buy some time. I wanted to save my force for an Engineer, but I'm worried that I won't be able to disrupt this in time. So I think I am going to force. I could sink into Super, but that's at least 2 turns away and I'll be dead. So the way this works is next turn it's going to go up to 2 and I get 1 turn and then boom, they get to search. So they can still win even with this out of play, but it does cost them a little bit more mana and it hampers their flexibility a little bit. I think I'm tempted to pitch the Lord here. I'm just going to Silvergill a couple times and I might draw a land and be able to sink. I won't be able to sink in time, but if they don't immediately, and sink also answers one of their constructs. I'm going to, this is a really fateful decision. Yeah, I'm going to pitch the sink. Okay, and they don't have the Pyro. They could have had Pyroblast off of Simian Spirit Guide. All my spells smell like burnt hair lately, says Jaya Ballard. I don't think we're going to win this game. Lord of Atlantis is fine. I think I just want to draw cards. And you generally want to play out your non-Lord creatures first so you can maximize the ones that are actually swinging. But I will reveal Lord of Atlantis, I guess. Draw trigger. I probably need another Force to Survive. That does Tide Chamber this to prevent it from searching, which just lets them have infinite constructs. That's pretty bad. But that is a way that we can not have them search for it. It's terrible. And then if they just pyro this or kill it some way, they get it right back. Yeah, I think that's probably what we need to do, sadly. They just had the nuts, basically. Urza Saga into Painter with Welder protection is insane. I think this is a stellar hand that they've drawn. I don't think it's representative, but it is a powerful deck. Okay, so if they start stamping these out, technically we're giving them an island. Yeah, I just need to make this into... It feels so bad. Okay, Silvergill Mentor is just more of the same. So I am going to go ahead and just do this. I'll cast with Kicker. And we'll turn this Urza Saga into an infinite Urza Saga that never dies. They're going to go ahead and make it... Dude, you don't... I think it still has that ability, whether you do it now or later. So they didn't need to do that. Okay. And now I do want to smash. Since they have an island I can get through. But I could also just Silvergill. I actually think if they're going to make a construct every single turn, it's just a matter of time before we're dead. We do want to get our clock going probably. I mean, this can attack anyway. No, it doesn't have Island Walk. I need to give it Island Walk. Let's do it. And they may be able to kill me anyway, because all they need is a Pyroblast on this, and then they just go search. I'll show the one. I already showed them Lord of Atlantis, so I'll show them that now, and I'll swing for 3, and we'll pass. I am just going to try to aggro them. If they come at me, I'll just let it through. I will actually be very happy because I'm pretty confident I can out-aggro them. They are going to bring that back. So I think they have a Pyroblast. But they're also going to need mana. Everything's blue. Oh, black? Interesting. They don't want to turn on my Force of Will pitching lands. Because they could go after my lands or my... yeah, they could do a lot of stuff over there. Yeah, sure. It's coming through. No resistance for me. We may get lucky here. I mean, like, again, if we manage to win, it'll be exceptional. Like, it's extremely unlikely. Ensnaring Bridge. They have 2 cards in hand. We do have a Sink into Stupor that can get through this, but like otherwise we're not attacking anymore, and it's just a matter of time. So yeah, that's pretty powerful. They can also just take it out of play if they want to. Silvergill Mentor. I think we Silvergill Adept first. I don't have good attacks. I can attack with this, but this doesn't have Island Walk itself. If I play this out, it'll have Island Walk, but then it'll be 3 power. I need to find mana to cast Sink into Stupor. And when I do cast Sink into Stupor, I get 1 attack. So we'll go ahead and Silvergill here. Draw trigger. There's the Sink into Stupor, but we need another land. I think I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to try to Alpha Strike them. Let's go wide. This way, at least we can block if we need to. No, I don't imagine we're going to need a block. I think I just want to go ahead and go wide. Behold, my Silvergill Adept. Okay. It is nice that they changed the rules like a little bit for this one, because before Silvergill Adept, you had to reveal it from hand, but now you can reveal it from hand or in play. So it just rewards you for being tribal. If we rip a land, I think we win. Unless they have the win right now. But they could easily Pyroblast my Sink into Stupor. So they're just getting a land. Okay, that's cool. They have Pyro right now. They have 5 main deck Pyroblast effects. I checked. Fable, this will help them dig to it. My kids are fighting. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I don't think this changes anything. Come on, land. They're tapped out. This is the perfect window. All these are going to have Island Walk thanks to Tideshaper. We just need to be able to get that Ensnaring Bridge out of play. Please give me a land. Well, I think I just double Tideshaper this. I'll Tideshaper it again. This way they can't easily remove it. Okay, so now they have to kill both of these to get through my Tideshaper. And then I can Silvergill, and I'll just have like such a broad army. I just need 1 land. I need for them to not draw Pyroblast. But even if they draw they could also draw Grindstone directly. That would win. Pyroblast, Grindstone, lots of things they could draw here. But actually, Pyroblast doesn't do it anymore directly. Because they've been Simian Spirit Guide. They have 1 card in hand. What is it? Please don't be Grindstone. Okay, interesting. They opted to just keep it in hand. All right, so I'm going to get my Silvergill Mentor out now. They could have Pyroblast, and they're just going to try to like Pyroblast our Sink. But I don't really have the option of waiting around. Trickster is nice. But it doesn't do anything here. I say we just hold it up. And if they make a construct, we could like clear it. There's nothing, you can't take away the ability, like everything's going to be black regardless of whether Trickster works. I learned that from Dress Down the hard way, as one tends to learn. Okay, so we'll pass. Got nothing going on over here. They can put a, Simian Spirit Guide under here. They are making a construct. That's fine. Again, I don't expect it to ever attack or block. I didn't even think about that being able to attack. Well, Yeah, that does create a thing for them. I think I just go ahead and put this in, and then I can block with anything. I guess I could wait to see if they have like some ability to ping, but they're kamikazing this, so that's fine. As it stands, the only creatures that can sustain it are these Tide Shippers, but I'll block with a Tide Shipper. Oh yeah, they can do that. Okay, well, that's fine. And now they're going to put the counter on that, I presume. And now I can do this. And so it'll still survive. Petal. You got tons of mana over there. Another welder, that's fine. Now it's worth noting that if I Ensnaring Bridge, they could, like, I have one more turn to draw land, and then they'll be able to weld it in and out to dodge the Sink into Stupor. So we really need to land this turn, deck. Come on. This has been a great game. Come on, deck. Ah! I think we lose now. I can vial this Merfolk Trickster in to turn one of these off before I try to go for this. That's about all I can do. I guess I just go ahead and play out this Trickster or this Dock Hand. It can at least tap this down to deny them a mana next turn, or deny them creating a construct. I don't think it matters, and it can't actually do anything this turn cycle. Okay, maybe I just needed to hold that in case I drew Force. I don't think Force will be a factor in this game. They're swapping this. That's fine. That means they can just swap it out when it comes to time to attack, but they can attack for a lot here. But it's not going to be lethal because I'll just Trickster. So I have to use my Trickster now because they're about to needle this. I'll just Trickster one of these guys so they don't get to attack with as many big creatures. Because they're copying it, that's fine. Again, like, unless they have a way to give trample, I'm not too worried about it. Now what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to Ensnaring Bridge. Like, they're going to have to tap this to put Ensnaring Bridge back in. I think this is just let them give them like a couple of these tokens. I could just take the damage, but it's not necessary. I've definitely got them dead. Okay, they're helping again. Please give me a land, deck. Oh my goodness, deck. Can I get a land? I'm going to lose. I don't... I mean, like, if they play correctly, they can vial this. They can put this back in and they can just remove it and I'll never get good attacks. Okay, yeah, and they're doing that. I need them to screw up somehow. There's no reason not to play this out. Well, I think there is a reason that if I draw a Force, but I don't think it matters. I'm not going to deploy it. I'll take a bunch of damage this turn. I don't care. They've got another guy. They're going to attack with like 3 10-10s or something like that. I will eventually lose the ability to kill them in one strike. Now they're violating that back out. That's fine. This has been a heck of a game one. All right. I could have used Richard on Port to deny them a construct here, but I don't really care. I'll just block 2 of them. Let's block with... it doesn't really matter what we block with that much. Again, we are going to be able to kill them still, I believe, with the Island Walk, but it has to happen next turn. I'm just going to take 10. I don't think they're going to be able to like bolt me out or anything. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've got more than enough to kill them here. Another Painter Servant. Again, because it's Island Walk, we have that option. But we have to draw a land right now. 20 freaking mana sources in my deck. Can I get a mana source, please? I'll just scoop if I don't. But even if I do, I think they're just going to be able to get through it. Trickster. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to play anymore. I don't want to waste my clock. I'm not going to win this game. My deck just did not cooperate. I think it's extremely unlikely, and I'm worried about time as well. So Flood Pit Drowner is pretty good. True Name is completely unkillable once it hits. In a previous version of this deck, I did have Dismember instead of the Flood Pit Drowner, but I feel like just being aggressive and proactive is probably going to be better. I kind of feel like just taking out the Forces. They do stop them from just like goldfishing us, though. And I'm fully aware that I did pitch a Sink into Stupor in like the opening moments of the game to Force, and I could have pitched one of the Silvergill Adepts Now, this did represent 2 cards, but it could be that I would have won that game had I pitched differently. So every little decision matters in Legacy. True Name could come in. Again, if it gets blasted, it feels pretty bad. Harbinger should not come in. It's just not good since they changed the Urza Saga rule. It's not good against monocolor decks. Yeah, I'm going to just experiment with taking out the forces and just go full aggro. Because we can just remove blockers and stuff. This is another Aether Vial hand. This is a freaking snap keep. We also have a Wasteland if they get frisky with the Urza Saga. Urza Saga will almost certainly needle Vial, so I do want to stop that. Okay, they're just passing. I'm actually very happy they led with Tomb. That means they don't have an Urza Saga in hand, because you would always lead with the Urza Saga, probably. Disruptor Flute. Well, isn't that annoying? Yeah, that is very annoying. So I can still put the counters on it, but I'm never going to get rid of this. I mean, like, I could, like, bounce it back to hand, but that I don't think would be good. From this situation, like, I might just not draw land, which is terrifying. I'm going to go ahead and just save these for, yeah, I'll just reveal a Dockhand. And Dockhand may be able to deny the mana later. I just need to get more mana under me. And this is going to get amped up once we find a Lord. We already have 1 Lord in hand. So I'll just Silvergill again next turn if I don't find a land, and I'll just try to find a land. Painter's Servant, yeah, that blocks. Everything's black. Welder, that's a strong card. So I will go ahead and take this up to 2. MTGO, you used to basically just be able to ignore that thing and like just set it and keep moving on, but you can see my clock has dwindled dramatically because I have to constantly click on it. So let's go ahead and do another Silvergill here. I don't want to just attack in and like trade. Like that's not how I want to win. I think it's unlikely that they fall for it, but I do have Hexcatcher and I could trade this for a Painter. But am I winning a game where like they're just going to Value Town? Not necessarily. And I would like to draw additional cards and not just play my Hexcatcher immediately. But I guess I'm going to try it. It's possible they fall for it. They may just take it. In which case I can put up the Hexcatcher. Okay, that's good for me. They may have forgotten that there's an Instant Speed Lord. They have freaking... so frustrating. They had the Pyroblast with the Simian Spirit Guide. So that they got the best of me there. I don't think we're winning anymore. It was unlikely that they had exactly those 2 cards. There's like a 16% chance, maybe 25% chance that they had that. And I didn't think that they would play the way they did if they had it. Okay, so another Pithing Needle. This doesn't matter. There's nothing else in my deck to needle, I don't think. But luckily that's not Grindstone. So they're just trying to like aggro us, which is fine. We can still win through aggro. I would like to draw a land now. Trickster is fine, but it's not what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and Silvergill here and just try to find land. I'll just reveal the Rishodon Dockhand. And I will shock in a land to get Dockhand on the table. I think time is not on our side here. We need to be aggro. Okay, this is fine. I think I saved these for Urza Saga. I don't think it's correct to waste this, but if they draw exactly... Oh, they name Wasteland, so I can't even waste. Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that was the other activated ability in my deck. They're not attacking. Okay. Well, there's not a good reason not to play it out. Yeah, I guess I Silvergill and I just pass, sadly. This does, like, when we do eventually draw another blue source, we can go pretty wide pretty quickly. But yeah, not being able to counter an Urza Saga means we're just dead on board if they find it. And also, like, they can just block stuff. We're not able to deny them. They can like block and then just volley them back in and out as necessary. Let's find a blue source. My kingdom for a blue source. Okay, well, I'll just keep doing this and going extremely wide. And then when I eventually find a blue source, we'll be attacking for a lot. I think we're just dead if they find the Grindstone or an Urza Saga. I don't think we're going to be able to win in time because they have a lot of blockers. I have to hope that they start breaking because they have a lot of bad cards in their deck. They have a lot of like Simian Spirit Guides and stuff like that. So painful. I think Flood Pit Drowner is probably the best card here. It's just not clear what we target with it. I think I can wait till the end step. and then I can take out a painter, or I can tap down painter, and then I'll attack, and they'll have to trade with some of this stuff. It doesn't seem good. They could actually just Vile Painter out and in again. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put this guy on. That could have been Dockhand, but I don't think that's like as good as this. Hopefully they Pyroblast this. That's great. I'm very happy with that trade. All right, deck. Can I get a land? That's a land. Just going to do this pre-combat. And we'll attack with everybody, and we're going to try to get them dead. They have another Pyro. That's fine. I'm not going to attack. I'm going to save my material. We're dead to so many things here. Let's see if we can dodge another turn. Yeah, I mean, it's still going to take a few turns to kill him. 6 mana in the pool is this Fury. Oh, what a beating. What a freaking beating. Can we ever beat Fury? We lose 4 creatures? I'm done. This was just a disaster of a game. But I think it was just... Yeah, it's a bad matchup, frankly. All right, we're back. Opponent plays a wide range of decks, so who knows what they're on. This is a Vile hand. I like the Force. I'm going to snap keep this. Island is unimpeachable mana source, even if they counter the Vile, which I will force fight over the Vile. I'll probably just pitch Trickster, because Hexcatcher and Master are really good, and they can buff up our Silvergill. We're on the play, which is nice. So we beat the Moonstomp or the Moonshadow deck, and we lost to Painter, which is a deck that has like post board probably 6 or 8 Pyroblasts, which can both fight us on the stack or fight us like just remove permanents from the table. Very strong card against a deck that is like almost all blue. Like our deck is literally like 44 blue spells and some lands, or actually it's 40 because there are vials in there too. So they're thinking about forcing this, I believe, which is the correct thing. Like whenever your opponent plays a turn 1 vial, you should force. You don't need to overthink it. Just force it. It will run away with the game. And they're smart. And I'm smarter because I had the force as well. Let's see if they want to chase. All right. Well, it worked out very well for us. I'm not really smarter. I just got lucky with a really strong hand. This entire hand collapses if they can remove this vial. But I don't think they would force if they had a clear way to remove it. They could have drawn, some sort of artifact exile thing. Island. This is giving me Omni vibes with the Eldrazi thing over there. Yeah. She's pretty good against our deck. But we are natively favored against Island decks because we have a bunch of cards in our deck that give us Island Walk. So if you're going to use Vial, be sure to learn the hotkeys because it is a serious clock sync on MTGO. So I'm just going to go ahead and Silvergill here. And I'll just reveal my Master of the Pearl Trident because I just want to get more cards. If I rip a 1-drop, that's great. Okay, another Island. So we can buff this up pretty well next turn. We can like double buff it. But it won't be enough to kill a Tomio if she flips. But they may be able to kill over 2 turns. This is probably blue-black tempo we're playing against. It's really the only deck that plays Tomio right now. They ponder. They could have double ponder. Wasteland, not going to do a lot against our deck. All right, Tomio doesn't flip. That's great. Silvergill, Adept, not bad. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Silvergill getting countered is not a huge tragedy here. I'm just going to do it like that. My opponent knows about the Master of the Pearl Trident, but they don't know about Verdolian Hexcatcher. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and just main phase this with the Master that I've already shown them twice. And we'll attack for 3. And that is the first blood in the match. By the way, First Blood, the Rambo movie, is available on YouTube for free. I'm not encouraging you to abandon this video that you're watching right now, but it is really cool. I watched it the other day, and it's just like amazing acting by Stallone, and just like the cinematography is incredible. Stallone did his own stunts for most of it, like so he did like the cliff jump into the tree, crazy stuff. Okay, let's see if they find it. Okay, yeah, I think we're very favored in this matchup. We're just gonna go extremely wide and extremely hard. Silvergill goes even wider. But like, I think are they just dead? Let's see. So this will be hitting for 5, 5, 4. They'll go to 1. I think it is correct to go ahead and do this. I'll just play this out. Huh. Yeah, I can play this out, and then if they force, I can just Hexcatcher. And then I can sack one of the creatures. Like, they should try to force this. Actually, maybe I should have Hexcatchered and then Silvergill, because I would have just... Yeah, they just skipped to that. With too much pressure on the play. So against this deck, I do think True Name can come in for sure. They're playing Barragoyf almost certainly. Again, like, I could be wrong about what they're playing, but we did see blue-black. I mean, they could be on Doomsday, which would mean the match would be shorter. Some Doomsday is still playing... I mean, the thing is, the format is bifurcated into like slower strategies like Beanstalk and like really fast strategies like Doomsday. And it's tough to know which one, but I think Doomsday is abandoned Tamio just because she is a little bit slower. So we can bring in one Flip Pit Drowner. Is there like a upgrade or side grade that we could do to one of these creatures? I think what we could probably do is take out some Silvergills and bring in more Flood Pit Drowners, because Silvergill does get hit pretty hard by Bowmaster, which they're almost certainly playing if they're on blue-black tempo. Yeah, I think we just do it like this. All right, and no lander. You can get no landers even when you're playing 20 mana sources. The original, fun fact, the original mulligans in 1993 were just like no land mulligans or all land mulligans. You couldn't just voluntarily mulligan your hand. You had to have either all lands or no lands. Obviously, if that were still how it would be today, people would just be playing like... I mean, can you imagine how oops all spells would be? Like, oh, I've got no lands. I'll just keep going and mulliganing 7 cards until I find my combo. That wouldn't work. Thankfully, they changed it. But yeah, mulliganing back in the day used to be a nightmare because you get like a totally non-functional hand, but it would have like a land in it. So let's mulligan this. I mean, this is a Vile hand, and we can just put back one of the Caverns. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Actually, with the Wasteland... I actually kind of want to have 2 Caverns just in case it wastes me. Because if I get True Name out, it doesn't really matter how long the game goes. I'll probably win. Yeah, and I'm not going to be wasting the tempo deck most likely. Okay, let's do it that way. Because one of the downsides, and one of the reasons you see some Merfolk decks not play... Yeah, and there we go. So I'm definitely... Like, I guess I could have Wastelanded that. Wow, that's so good. And you can hear my son playing one of his many compositions in the background. I'm not sure how loud it is. All right, that's a good card, but like, is that good enough to board in against us? I'm not convinced it is. However, they do have Wasteland, so they are going to be able to keep us off of what we want to do here. This is never going to go away. Always yield, and I will go ahead and take it up just to confuse them that maybe I have a reason. Or a way to do it. I am going to go ahead and play out this Cavern, unfortunately. I could play out Sink. I don't think that's correct. I could Sink later and then Vow. I'm just going to play this out, and it's going to get wasted. And they're almost certainly going to have like a Bowmasters at some point and take out like our dear Merfolk, but I can't just not make my land drop. Unfortunately, I do need to show them one of these. So they're definitely going to waste me now because they're like, oh, I don't want to face that. Hopefully they don't have like Cabal Therapy or something. All right. And I opened the door to my study where I'm recording this, and now you can probably hear the piano. It's very resonant. We got a nice Yamaha used for like $2,000, which is not bad at all. It's definitely the best investment I think that we've ever made, just buying a piano for the house. And then, of course, piano lessons. Because they wasted the first one. Oh, nice. So next turn we do have like the uncounterability. I think there's a very good chance that they just have Bowmaster here, but like I'll trade. I'm not gonna, like, if they don't have Bowmaster, it'll be embarrassing if I forgo this, but I think they have it. So this is gonna die and then they're just gonna trade. That's fine. Once these come out, aside from like maybe Shield Exotic, there's just nothing they can do. And then I'll get the first one off Cavern. Are they gonna block this? They should block it. I don't draw cards. Like, I took out my... Well, I've got one still in the deck. Okay, they opted to just take it, which tells me they probably have... Yeah, I think I just pass. I was going to say, they probably just have Kaito. But Kaito will die very quickly to True Name. They could have... what's it called? Here comes Kaito, I believe. I've played against this deck so many times. It's the top deck in the meta. It's the best deck in the meta. And I will play some more on the channel, but I think people get bored of watching me play it all the time. It wins. It does win. It's a very good deck. So Kaito comes in. Probably pull that back to hand so they can snipe another creature later. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, like if I'd held back, like they wouldn't have had this attack, but they probably still would have. They just would have instepped and sniped my dude. They didn't actually really kill this anyway, so it was totally fine for me to attack. I think Toxic Deluge is the card that they could have that would ruin it for us. All right, let's go ahead and play this out. Merfolk. Blue, blue, blue. Got a True Name. And I will just go ahead and attack Kaito for 1. Because then True Name can kill the next turn and they'll be forced to like do something here. And this is going to get wasted. And then the next one will be vulnerable. Pikachu chooses you. Let's go ahead and attack Kaito. They could also have Dress Down. That would be a really savvy card. But you don't generally play Dress Down and Bowmasters in the same deck. Because you're giving your opponent, like who has cantrips in their hand, a reprieve if you do that. Best draw on the deck is just another Cavern. They've got a stacked hand over 5 cards. They don't have good attacks. So they might just like zero him because he's going to die. There's nothing. Oh, they could plus him and then he survives for another turn. But what I'll probably do is I'll try to Lord of Atlantis. I could even Lord of Atlantis to like try to bait them dazing. They haven't had Thoughtseize. It makes sense to take Thoughtseize out of your deck in this matchup. Them shutting down my Vial with Null Rod has been seriously impactful. But keep in mind that is a sideboard slot. That's a card they brought in that is only impactful against 4 cards in my deck, which I might not draw. It's not like Beanstalk where I'm like constantly churning through my deck trying to find stuff. I actually am considering just keeping True Name in hand. Like I don't want him to die to Daze, obviously. Okay, well I'll just block here. And then if they have like Dress Down, good game. Yeah, they're just going to buff it. That's fine. So I'll take an extra damage here. Oh, they're going to kill my creature. That's fine. And they can still zero him for value. That's what they're doing. They did do damage to me, so they had that option. They ban a land. They keep a card. Okay, they're fetching. They could stick like a giant Murktide, which would be really annoying here. Because they could race me. Ponder. If I just draw a Cavern, I'll be in such a good position. Tideshaper. I don't think Tideshaper accomplishes much here. We can play it around Daze, though. If we want to get a wide board, I just don't want to... I mean, this True Name is so valuable. I think I play it out. I'll pay the life. I'm going to go ahead and Lord. This would probably be a force if they have it. I'm just hoping they force and pitch Daze. Or that they Daze this Tideshaper. It's just a 2/2 body. They force that. They do have force. They do have force. I saw their life total change. They may not force it. They do force. Okay, they pitched a Baleful Strix. That's nice. Alright, so let's kill Kaito here. They may have another Kaito. But I'm just going to live in the world where... You know, a world without Kaito. And again, I'm opting not to race them. I think Kaito's a big enough threat that we just want to remove him from the table. I probably won't block with... Well, if they attack with the Orcish Bowmasters, I will block with Lord of Atlantis because I'd trade a Bowmasters and a Bowmaster Ping for a Lord of Atlantis. That's fine. So if she flips, then I can kill her too. If I draw a land, I don't have to worry about Daze, but I don't think I have to worry about Daze anyway because I just can't imagine them holding Daze there. I'll take this. The biggest threat is Murktide at this point. We can take away Murktide's abilities. They don't have Murktide yet. Okay, that's good. All right, that's pretty good. So I think there's a decent chance they don't have it if we stick this other master, these both get the ability to attack, and then we deal 7, 8. We deal 8, and they're on a 2-turn clock, and we don't have to worry about days. And if they wipe our board, then we can just they're gonna have to wipe out these too. If they do find Toxic Deluge, and then we just stick the true name and finish them off. I think I'm gonna do that. Now, if they have Fatal Push, they could push one of these and then block, but they wouldn't be able to kill it in combat unless they have other stuff. So let's go ahead and attack with both of these. They have something. It's probably just another Bowmasters, but it won't be enough. Oh, Snuff Out's good. Okay, Snuff Out, but that comes at a high price. So they can block now. Oh, they have another Bowmasters. Okay, so they can ping and then block with 1. Yeah, they paid a lot of life to do this, though. And they're down to 8. So they're dead in like just a few swings. Yeah, and next turn, I am going to attempt the true name probably. And if they do, like, let's say they just do it for 1. It's not that big of a deal. If Tamio can debuff, it is annoying. We probably have to kill Tamio. It's a lot of damage. 4 damage. And this is without us drawing any cards. It's just like Bowmaster feeding Bowmaster. They have the Brainstorm. This is devastating. I think we're going to lose this game. And they have the Wasteland. That's devastating. Barry. Well, they didn't waste us, so I'm just going to stick this, and then I can attack with 1 and block with the other. Let's see if we can draw... I don't know what we could draw here that would be good. Like, obviously, the third true name would be great. Wasteland doesn't do a lot here, but they're not going to daze us anyway. I'm not going to waste them because... Can I even attack? So I think I do need to attack, but then they're going to hit me for 4, and I'll be at 1, and then I'm just dead to a Bowmaster. But if I don't attack, this just keeps ticking up. Man, I think they turned the corner here. I think I have to hang back and let it go up. It's so sad, but I think it's correct. They can't actually crack their clue because of the Null Rod, which is nice. Karmic Justice. And then if we do, we're not going to be able to kill it. But they can't attack with Barry. They just have no attacks, and we just wait a few turns. And if we draw another Sink into Stupor, we can Stupor this back to hand. And they'll get no value. If they minus it, then we just attack it and kill it next turn. Yeah, I think I just have to hang back. And if they attack me, I will double block Barry. It sucks, but like we're not winning where they're able to knock us down to 1, because then any attack and we're dead. But I will let them knock me down to 1 if it means killing Baragoyf. They probably minus and just get a Brainstorm back. And again, the reason I'm not using this Wasteland is because I want to be able to cast this if I draw the third one. I have 1 more left in my deck. This is a great game, by the way. Like, this has definitely been like them using the full proverbial buffalo, the full proverbial whale to take us apart. Also, shout out to my opponent for playing Snuff Out. I think it's really good right now because of Murktide. And just, it'll be bad against like the Moonstompy decks, but it's not dead in the mirror by any means. You can always snuff like a Tamio. 4 life is little to pay for like, relatively unconditional removal. The big problem with Murktide is everybody's playing like 4 Fatal Pushes in their black decks, and that's great, but that doesn't deal with Murktide, and Murktide is how you lose. They may have drawn a Murktide, they're thinking. All right, so they are choosing to do what I proposed. Well, not exactly. They're getting a Ponder. This does shrink the Barry, but he's just going to grow right back. Okay. So this is nice because if I find a Lord, I can attack for lethal. Assuming they don't have interaction, which they likely will have. I just need a Lord of Atlantis. Or, so I've got 6 Lords. Any of those will do it. So I was correct to not attack there, I think. So we drew a brick. I think we finished off Tamio, and we just dropped a 1. Because if she's able to tick up, then she removes our ability to win. But it's like basically a force block. And then they can ping us to death. They might already have a Bowmaster, but if they had the Bowmaster, they probably would have used it there. What do we do? I want to take her off the table. Yeah, if we do that, then we just draw a Lord. But like as stands, they don't have good attacks if we just hang back. But is this game getting better for us if Tomio's taking up? Again, Tomio removes the ability for us to just draw a Lord and win. I'm going to kill Tomio. It's hard, but like if we get pinged, we get pinged. This is the one window where we have to kill her. She'll be 3 loyalty and she'll debuff next turn, so we won't be able to kill her. And our opponent doesn't know we don't have nothing. If we drew, what's it called? We could take away the Baragwife's abilities, which would also be really good. Trickster. How did Merfolk get the reputation for being Trickster? Because I think there's like Cozy's Trickster, and then there's Merfolk Trickster, like all these different Tricksters in the Merfolk family. They're wasting that. That's fine. Just show me the Bowmaster and we can move on with our day. I was probably dead to Bowmaster anyway. Because they should definitely attack here. And it's a force block. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you strongly disagree with that. But now we draw a Lord and the game's over. And if they counter the Lord, we just don't attack. We don't have good attacks here, unfortunately. We could just sink this back into hand, but it's still not worth... Like, we're just dead to any attacker. In fact, I need to sink right now, or I'm dead. Yeah, I'm just going to sink now. It sucks. We could just get this dazed, and that'll end the game too. Okay, that worked. So we live to fight another turn. Okay, this is Bowmaster. Good game. Oh, Brazen Borrower. Yeah, that ends it too. Okay, good game. I like that a lot. That was a fun gameplay. We are very favored here, though, especially as we go into game 3. So I was correct that they're on blue-black tempo and not Doomsday. We could take a Silvergill in favor of a force on the draw. Or we're on the play. Never mind. Yeah, I think we just play it like this. I don't want force. I don't want a 2-for-1 myself. I just want to do good threats and keep the pressure on. All right, game 3. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun with our fish. Mulligan. This is a keep. I'll put back... I mean, knowing that they're playing No Rod, it's probably a one of... How afraid do I want to be of it? I think it's better to just keep the islands. Because, yeah, I'm not going to want to actually vial in Tide Shipper anyway. I want to kick her in probably. I'll just put back a vial to distribute the risk a little bit. And then if they force it, it's not that big of a deal. It's a 2-for-1. They're not going to be able to disrupt me like they did last game. Last game, I drew a lot of non-islands. So you force here, they do. They're smart. We will pass. They pitched a Kaito there. If we start drawing lands, we could easily lose. Okay, Wasteland is their land for turn. That's good for us. We don't have to worry about days. I could just waste it. I could just turn it into an island. That might actually help them, though. I'm going to just hold my Wasteland. Yeah, I think I just play out the Tide Shaper. No, I'll kicker him. Will I kicker him? That seems weird to turn their Wasteland that's a totally dead card. I'm just going to play this out. If they could fetch a swamp and then ping this, which would be embarrassing. But I'm not going to give them an island. Because I think there's a chance that they don't have islands and that we will be able to waste one of their duels. Since we drew this land, like I definitely want to get True Name on the table safely around days. And if I gave them an island, that could be days back to hand. Okay. So I think there's a very real chance that they just have the dude. But they're not going to daze me here, so I am going to go ahead and jam. Which, if you haven't seen the Michael Jackson video jam from like the 80s or 90s with Michael Jordan in it, you should totally watch that. It's like, I don't know. I love that song. I just think it's so cool. He shoots like the full court over the back shot. I don't know how many times they had to shoot that, but him attempting to like throw a basketball from the other side of the court into the goal. But it's really cool. So if I attack, I might as well attack. I don't think there's any merit to holding back. If they have a Bowmaster, they have a Bowmaster. And they're just going to kill him. So yeah, they were just going to do that anyway. All right. And we'll hope to pressure them. I will waste their next blue source. Okay, I'll waste that for sure. Do you have Kaito? They did pitch a Kaito, but they usually play 2. So by wasting this, we're definitely going to keep them off Murktide for a while. And then I'll just be hitting them for 3 and winning the race, hopefully. What is this? Strix is fine. Draws them a card. Potentially gets them closer to a land. They don't have good attacks. So I attack for 3. They attack for 3. This Wasteland is not a bad draw. Check that out. You always want to do that before you put a spell in the stack. This is a pretty good blocker against your 1/1s. We can shut them off swamp starting next turn. I'm liking our position. That could change. But the fact that he's naturally protected, pretty good. Okay. They should attack all. Yeah, they do. And they could have Bowmasters that does change the math a little bit here. Okay, they're just attacking with that. That's fine. I think that's an error, but I don't know what's in their hand. Flip hits is pretty chill. I think I just waste them and I keep them completely off resources. Let's see what they do here. I do want to waste their islands, but like the game may not go long enough for that to be an issue. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and come in, and then I'll just flip hit Drowner their Strix in the upkeep. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting upkeep stops. I think that's more important than getting an extra damage here. And also this doesn't have Island Walk. They could double block it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, I'll go to their upkeep, and then I'll also set a stop in the draw step. That way the mana burns off because they are going to probably, okay, what are they doing here? Fatal Push? That's fine. I'll wait till they untap, and then I will just go ahead and flip it Drowner. And I'll just nail this. They forced that. Love it. Down to 2 cards over there. Draw up to 3. Even if they find the card, they're going to like wipe their graveyard, their entire deck, or their entire board. The card being Toxic Deluge. Tamio's a card that could buy them time. Get me locked into a Tamio minigame. Vial's pretty late to the party, but I will play it out. It's not worth like preserving information. I will play it out. They're not going to tempo me from this position, but if I have to attack Tamio for several turns, they could tempo me. It would be really annoying if they flip Tamio here. Okay, they found another land. So they're drawing out of their Screw, and as we know, Screw beats Flood. We've been flooded. Not really. I mean, like, yeah, this is fine. So if they have a cantrip or they find a cantrip, they can flip her this turn, which is a big problem. They fetch down to 7. This is the Merc. Tragedy. Tragedy strikes. Murktide hits the table. Despite all my efforts, like I didn't have to waste their Wasteland. That was a choice I made. I could have like waited, but like I think they played this out this turn, so it's not like I could have waited. They had a fetch. Okay, so I think we're actually just dead here. I'm trying to think of what we could draw. We could stun it. I'll play the Lord of Atlantis. They're hellbent. We'll attack for 4. They may be dead on board. Like even if they clear it now, if they clear the Lord, they're dead next turn. They have to flip Tamio next turn, but they probably can if they find a land because they'll have 2 clues to flip her, and then they'll decrease it to 2, and they'll be able to attack me, and I will probably die before I'm able to hit them the last damage. So if they can clear this, but that takes a mana. I don't know that they can win. Let's see. Snuff Out would do it, but Snuff Out they can't cast because of the life. Brainstorm does a lot here. Please tell me they didn't find Brainstorm. Because Brainstorm could find a land and a Fatal Push. We did it. That's so close. So down to the wire. I have no idea what they drew, but we're feeling pretty good. And again, I do think this is a favorable matchup, especially with all the creature kind of like disruption we have. Round 4, we're 2-1. We're up against a Doomsday opponent, most likely. This hand is really, really strong. It's got a lot of fish. It's got a vial. It's got a cavern, which is nice. I'm going to keep this, and we're going to see whether our opponent can force our vial. By the way, like when you're playing vial, the deck building constraints are dramatic. Like you should basically only be playing creatures if you've got this card in your deck. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. And if you look at Death and Taxes, if you look at Merfolk, like those are like probably the 2 premier vial decks. other than like Espervile. Even Espervile in 80 cards only plays like 12 non-creature cards. And I think that's how you have to do it to justify this. There's definitely an argument to be made that this is no longer a legacy power level card because it can just get countered or it can get, exiled like by some Eldrazi or something like that. But I think it's still good enough in this context. Pedal, okay. Are they going to turn one Doomsday me? Thoughtseize, okay. So this is probably going to grab our Silvergill because that's the thing that's most likely to draw us into action here. I could take I could Tide Shaper them just to like cut them off black a little bit so it's harder for them to cast Doomsday. But they do play Daze. But if I have Cavern, it doesn't matter. Never mind. I could also just Dockhand and Tide Shaper just to go wide and then jam this the next turn. And I could jam this as well. Yeah, I think that's actually the strategy. I just go really wide and damn the torpedoes. Let's try to get them dead. They'll probably take the Master if that's the case. If they think I'm going to do that. They do. All right. Pretty good. So I think what we do here is we just Silvergill just in case we draw a force. And then I will Dockhand. I'll probably Tide Shaper. Also, so it doesn't matter what I show them. They've already seen everything other than the Lord. And there's a very good chance that there's a Daze over there. So this Cavern is pretty clutch. Unfortunately, we're not playing Daze. Like if the meta is very combo heavy, oh, this is a pretty good draw. Then it does make sense to play Daze. Like, but again, what I was saying earlier, like with the deck building, you want everything to be a creature and Daze is not a creature. Force is so good and so necessary that that's like the one concession. Because they have Doomsday here if they want it. Tommy's fine. I'm going to just beat right through her. So here I'm going to Tide Shaper. And that's a 2/2 as well. And now we can Lord and Dockhand and waste them. And what I'll do is I don't want to waste them until after the Lord. Because I want to have Island Walk so they can't block with Tommy. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and do this. I don't think a Doomsday deck is going to have removal. If they do, it does save them some life here. And they're basically dead on board. They're going to have to do like a one-turn Doomsday. I could wait till their upkeep, but there is a chance that they draw the Cycler, the Land Cycler. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Nothing's on the stack. They can't Daze. They don't have the Cycler. Okay, cool. And even if they have the Cycler, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like them paying to cycle. They're getting to use their dying land for something. Okay, they're surveilling. They're in a really rough spot. I think this is a good matchup. And I will bring in the 4 Force Negations, even though it pains me to do so. I'll probably cut... What will I cut for that? They've been a Thassa's Oracle. So that's further confirmation they're on Doomsday. They might as well create a clue. I think they're dead on board. Let's see. 6. They have 1 life. Which you can't Doomsday with 1 life. It kills you. So they would have to throw away their pedal to crack this. Street Wraith. Okay, they're dead on board. They would have to have a no pass the turn pile where they win immediately. I would be stunned if they can win from here. They crack the clue. It does flip Tomio. That does keep them alive for a turn. But not if I draw a Lord. I think if I draw a Lord, I can still kill them. Okay, Trickster is nice. It doesn't do anything here. So I'm just going to go 2 and 2. It might be worth it to just tap down one of the lands. Is that worth it rather than just... Because I'm only getting 1 damage. Yeah, I think what I do here, they're going to be dead the next turn anyway. Like, there's no way they can avoid it. I don't think unless they just had some miraculous series of draws. So I think I send the weakest to... I could send the weakest to... No, I have to send Tide Shaper... Yeah, I'll send 2 of these at Tommy, and that'll be... No, wait, that won't actually be lethal. Do I have to send everything at lethal? No. I send these 2 at Tommy, and then this one can attack for 1. And then I'll keep this one back. But I don't want them to like regrow and I don't want to have to deal with Tommy next turn. Let me just double check. So this is 2, 2, 1, 1. That is not lethal. And reducing their life total is not as good as just getting Tommy off the table. Okay, so let me just make sure this is attacking Tommy, this is attacking Tommy. Okay, and this can attack them. So unless they want to use their pedal for a fatal push, Tommy's dead. They take 1. During their upkeep, I will tap down one of their lands. And then I'll put in yet another lethal attacker. So this way, it just, I think it's better. So even if they like Barragoyfed or something, it's not going to matter because I have Trickster. Street Wraith. So if they Doomsday, they're going down to 2. Okay, yeah. They're going down to 3 technically. Okay. So here, Force Negation comes in. That's an easy one. They may bring in creatures. We didn't get to see their deck. Flippant Drowner is definitely better than Trickster against specifically like Murktide. Because Murktide's still an 8/8 that you can't really kill, but Flippant Drowner gives you the vital turn that you need. I like Silvergill a lot with Vidolian Hexcatcher. I think this card is very, very legacy playable. I think this is basically one of the best Merfolk we've gotten in years. So I'm hyped. I want to keep it in just because Silvergill, like their deck functions on razor thin mana margins with pedals and like low lane counts, and we can exploit that if we get Hexcatcher out. I think we swapped the Trickster for the Drowner, and then we need to make some other changes. We could just not have answers to Barragoyf and hope that they don't have it, because it's really embarrassing. Like they may just try to turbo us, presuming that Barragoyf's not going to be good enough. Barragoyf is good enough though. Barragoyf's an absolute menace against our deck. I don't want to cut any of our 1-drops. I don't really want to cut any Lords. I could cut a land for sure. So I think I cut a land and I cut some... I'll cut a land just in case. Like I might keep a land up. Tideshaper's better than Dockhand for sure. And then... So I'll cut down 1 land. I want to keep all this stuff. I could cut 1 Lord, but it's so good against him. I'll cut a Silvergill. I'll cut a Lord. And Lord of Atlantis is weaker because it does technically buff their Thassa's Oracle. They have a Merfolk in their deck. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're on the draw. So like a lot of times I'll tell people if they're playing like tempo decks or even Wasteland decks in general, which aren't necessarily tempo. Wasteland is just such a universally good card. It's my favorite card in Legacy. This is a Aether Vial hand. If they daze the Aether Vial, we do nothing, but I think it's so good that we're going to do it. And we have a Force Negation, which is important in case they try to turbo us. So again, if they stop our Vial, it's catastrophic, and we're not going to be able to protect it with Force of Negation, but they're unlikely to have Wasteland. If they Thoughtseize us, that's really bad because they can just take the Vial, but they may take the Negation anyway. And we've got a decent chance of drawing a Mana Source. Okay, this is good for us. That's fine. But this does mean they can daze our Vial in addition to forcing it. But I do have to play out the Vial because I don't want it to get Thoughtseize next turn. But like our opponent's probably not playing Thoughtseize anymore. Oh, do they have Thoughtseize? Or Duress would be good too. But why would you play Duress against the deck that's almost all creatures? I'm overthinking things. What can I say? All right, that simplifies things. I'm just going to leave with the... Yeah, I mean, this also represents days. If they're worried that we have days, I think we did show them Wasteland. Okay, this is in. So the sequence here is going to be Silvergill. Oh, I want to like Hexcatcher first because it has a lot of text. The card I'll pitch is going to be... I mean, they could have freaking Barragoyf here. I don't have a way to deal with them. Okay, they don't have Barragoyf yet. They also could have Bowmasters. Some of their decks play Bowmasters. Okay, we actually drew a card that we can put in with Vial in the end step, which is nice. Let's choose Merfolk here. And I don't like the lead with Lords, but I actually think it's really good here because we can surprise them with an uncounterable Lord, and then we can sacrifice the Dockhand and even the Lord if we need to. The other option here is to just Silvergill and get a card deeper into our deck, which is not a bad option too. But there is the chance that they have a Bowmaster that we can't interact with. I think I just want to chill. And they're probably like, why wouldn't you play out a... what do you have in your hand that you're not playing out a Merfolk? Next turn, yeah, I just want to get more information here. The sewer. Tomio is definitely one of the best cards against Merfolk. But luckily, Tomio is like basically like for the last year and a half, it's probably never been played less frequently than it is now. Like all these Affinity and Eldrazi decks and stuff, like Tomio just doesn't have time to do anything against those. I'm actually thinking about cutting Tomio from my beans lists as well. Doomsday. So I think the first order of business is we just see if we can counter it with Hexcatcher. They can pay. So how much do I want to get them on the hook? I think we start with a Force Negation and see if we can bait interaction here. They're not going to have Veil, which is very important. But technically, Veil wouldn't stop what we would be doing anyway, I don't think. No, wait, your spell can't be countered. It does. So I'm going to pitch Silvergill Mentor. Silvergill Mentor is so good with Hexcatcher, though. I think, and I mean, I hate to do this because Master is really good, but I think I'm actually going to pitch Master here. That just worked. Love it. Go ahead and do this. Blue, Hexcatcher, uncounterable. So we didn't get them, like they may have another one, but it's not going to be a very good card when we've got Silvergill Mentor and like all this stuff on the table. Yeah, I love this deck. Like this feels really good. This list feels great. So we can Silvergill and Silvergill, both the varying types of Silvergill will be on display here. Okay, Island's fine. Do I want to play it out? I think I want to Silvergill first and just see because I might be able to like represent. I have something else. So I guess we Silvergill first. That has to happen. Silvergill. We have to Adept first. So that we can... No, wait. We could just play it out. Yeah, I'll do it. I want to get a card first before I make decisions. They could like consign the trigger. I don't know why consign would be in their deck. Okay, that's a pretty good card. I think we just play that out here because that gives us like tons of additional damage. Yeah, I'm just going to just max damage here. Okay. And now this is out of Bummaster range. So they're just taking like the way you beat Doomsday is you get them so low that they can't Doomsday and win. So we're not completely shields down. We can sack creatures. And we can potentially, since we have Island Walk, we can potentially win around a Baragoyf. We could just let like Baragoyf tag this. There are only like 4 types in the yard too, so Baragoyf wouldn't be that huge. Feed the cycle. They discard a Ponder. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna sack. I'll let that happen. I need to stop other stuff. This buys them time though. They must have something because they opted not to use this ability. I think they have a Murktide, but no wait, they can't use Murktide. Okay, Thassa's Oracle. That's fine. That would have gotten buffed. This would have actually been a 2/3 had they not killed that. But like it wouldn't have mattered because it wouldn't have been able to block. But they would have been able to attack me with Island Walk. Isn't that a good enough reason to keep it around? All right. Just disgusting. Like, how do we draw these insane cards here? So lucky. We could bounce Thassa back into the hand and just hit him for 6, which is not bad. I think it's worth doing. But we can also just counter whatever the next big play is and just... yeah, we can attack with both of these. This actually has native Island Walk, and I'll just not attack with this. I don't think it's worth using the sync right now. I do want to go ahead and put the creature in play so they can't like respond with the activation of Aether Vial on the stack. I think they probably chump here to preserve life total. They should just chump this probably. But if they chump now, yeah, they are choosing to chump and preserve life total. Their life is very important, which is why you won't generally see them playing cards like Dismember or Snuff Out. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this now. Just to maximize the number of creatures we have for Hexcatcher. And I feel extremely confident that this game's over. Like, Barry would be pretty disastrous, but I could just sink him back to the hand. And then if they like have some interaction spell, I just sack a couple things. And then we get our Alpha Strike. I'll let that go. Use your mana. Yeah, this is just like a combo murdering machine. I love this deck. But it is weak to Painter, obviously. And a few other decks. Like, I think Eldrazi would probably give us a run for our money. But the fact that it's all, like, it has so many basic lands is really nice. I'll let that go. Did I err in letting it go? I think this is Murktide, which we can just bounce back to their hand. If I bounce it back to their hand now, they're not going to be able, yeah, I might as well do it on the stack. It doesn't matter. Thinking the Super is like a last minute addition. I was like, what I'll do is I'll go in Moxfield and just look at a bunch of sample hands. I just didn't like the fact that I was drawing so many lands mid game. Okay, if we draw a Lord, the game's over right now. If we don't, there will be another turn. Okay, I'll just come across with everything. There's no point in denying the mana at this point, I don't think. They could find Berry and they could survive. That's like the one card I think that they could have here. I'll just hold so they don't know what's going on over here. Yeah, it needs to be Berry specifically, I think. They could cantrip chain a lot. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, I mean, Sink into Super definitely helped us. I don't think they would have won, but it definitely, like, they could have just hung back for a couple turns. But if it wasn't Sink into Super, it would have been some other creature. Final round, we're on the play, but we're up against Painter again. No! All right. I think that we just keep this double vial hand. The vials are kind of redundant. Trickster's really good against... Yeah, I'll keep it and I'll try to like mana screw them. And color screw them, I guess. On their mono red deck. I'm going to try to color screw that. We'll see. Once the first one comes down, the second one hits a lot harder. Because like this is hitting for 2 instead of just 1. Okay, they're mulling. Yeah, this is pretty much the nightmare matchup. They've got like these giant constructs, but I'm hoping that Trickster can get in and do some work here. My opponent, I have no idea how to pronounce their name. In Groguhum, I seem to play against them like very frequently. They're really chill. So I'm going to make this into an island. And we'll see if they have the blast for it. I'm not going to bother playing out the other vial. I just don't think it matters. I'd rather get on board. They probably just pyro this. Okay, they're going to wait till it's in play, I guess, for pyroing. They might have a bolt. Yeah, they actually had a bolt. So I would like to play this out, but like it's not very good. I think I just hold it. And I try again next turn. Yeah, that's awkward. Okay, and I could just hit that and hope that they don't have interaction for it. Why are they floating red now? Oh, no, they have the engineer? Oh, this card is freaking annoying, but it doesn't really matter against our deck, thankfully. This card is... I was not happy to see this printed. This is going to be abused like crazy in like these epic gamble and, yeah. I'm not a fan. I don't like this type of deck design, or this card design. Just completely invalidating control. But again, it's not a big deal for this deck that we're playing right now, but it will be for, when we switch over to beans and stuff. Lord of Atlantis is decent. I think I just go ahead and make this, and I just hope that they can't interact with it. But I do actually have to pay mana to get the kicker effect. So boom, you got an island, and you don't have the ability to do stuff. Yeah, it's just, it taps for colorless or blue. I have Trickster, but I do take damage. Let's see, whenever ward pay 2 life. Okay, and other creatures have ward pay 2 life. So yeah, that might be annoying later. But I'll just chill, and I'll try to stick a Lord of Atlantis probably. Or, no, I'll Silvergill. And then, yeah, I'll have a pretty wide army that island walks. I just hope they can't clear this. Because if they clear this, then they've got Saga active. Mountain. They're down to 4 cards over there. Okay. That's a good card. I can't interact with it. But again, we're going to go really wide here. I don't think they're going to attack in. If they attack in, that's fine. Actually, I'm not going to trade. Okay, I think they could have probably attacked in there. So let's go ahead and do this, and I'll just mentor. Going wide. All right, they're tapped out, so I don't have to worry about them blasting. Unless, of course, they have the classic, what we saw in the previous Painter matchup, where they have both the Simian Spirit Guide and the blast in hand. That will never not be annoying. That's so sick. That's so sick. So even if they have that, we can counter it now. They're not dead, but they're very close. Okay, it did let me always yes here. And I'm not one of those people that waste time like pretending that I have something to put in. Like almost always I have something to put in anyway. So let's put this in. Got a pretty big attacking force here. Take 11. Island Walk. Yeah, and I'm really glad I slowed down. I mean, this was absolutely critical. So they're going to be able to do a lot of stuff here, but they probably won't be able to kill me. And yeah, I don't want to sack to Hexcatcher, but I can if I absolutely need to. They bend an Ancient Tomb and a Mountain. So that's really good value. This card is extremely strong, but I wouldn't play it. Like somebody was playing it in a deck that didn't have Ancient Tomb. I think it has to be an Ancient Tomb decks. Wow. And I think we've been on the play a lot, which helps this league. It's not just my exceptional piloting skills. It's luck helping us out too. So I think Force comes out is how we were doing it. It just feels really bad to like we need everything we can get here. Crew name is great. Harbinger's not good enough, but it is okay if the game's going to go long. Flip Pit Drowner can stop. Yeah, it's just not as good as Trickster. And you might be saying, like, why are you taking out Force against a combo deck? Like, we're not going to beat the game. It's a combo deck, but it's also, it has like it's an aggro deck and it's kind of a control deck. It's like all 3 in 1. It's a very cool deck. I've just never been interested in playing it, frankly. It's just not my style of deck. But it is like a no reserve list deck too. So I could, in theory, play it and it'd be a no reserve list. Do we want to bring in a single Harbinger just because it's not great against them, but it does turn on Island Walk, and Island Walk was pretty clutch there. I think Flood Pit Drowner is probably better because like the game has to go pretty long, and I don't think we're favored in a longer game anyway. I think I do bring in the Drowner. And again, the main reason is we don't want to be 2-for-1ing ourselves and only to have them like Pyroblast it. It feels pretty bad. But I fully acknowledge that if they just go, Painter into Urza Saga, that's extremely bad for us. And maybe if we were playing, but the problem is like any one of our cards can be blasted for the price of 1 red mana. It can be completely obviated. So that does color a lot of my thinking around what is worth playing. And I just think that they would likely, like if we did somehow manage to get some value out of Harbinger, they'd probably just lock it down shortly afterward. This hand just, Trickster is great. I want Trickster. This is a slow hand. This is like 1 card per turn, but we're on the draw. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have mulled. This feels pretty good though. Trickster is so good if they take a construct path. Sync is good. That did have the potential to get us out of the Ensnaring Bridge. I don't think Ensnaring Bridge is stock. I don't think everybody's playing that. I'll just lead with an island here though, so they don't know that Cavern's on the way. And at least we'll get some value from Silvergill when we cast it next turn. Okay, so we are going to be able to disrupt here. Oh no, Painter, they freaking have it. I think we're just dead. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. This is just too strong. We don't have removal in our deck. We do have Wasteland. If we draw Wasteland, that could work. We have to draw Wasteland or something that kills this. There's no way we're racing this, I don't think. Okay, so I'm fine with giving them infinite constructs if it means that we don't die to Painter. So I guess we try to live in that world. And I'll just draw. And I'll just reveal this guy. Yeah, they had precisely the nut draw. Okay, Aether Vial's too slow. It's not going to be a game piece. Maybe I should have kept the forces in. Because I definitely would have tried to force there. And they would have had the mana to blast back. Yeah, and they just have like the mana that they need to win. I'll take this damage. And I can't really attack because they can just make a dude. And it'll be pretty big. It'll be 3/3. And then I would have to use my Trickster. Come on, Wasteland. Good game. Well, we're not going to win. There's no way. Okay. Yeah, and we couldn't even like sync because we didn't have the mana. So that's how the cookie crumbles. It's a bad matchup. I want to emphasize that. I'll play against Doomsday. I'll play against Blue Black Tempo. I'll play against, combo decks all day long, but don't make me face freaking Painter twice in a league. My goodness. I'm not going to bring in the forces here. I'm going to just try to aggro them. Let's do it. They're just like, we need them to not have the nut draw. This is fine. It's not spectacular. This is sink into super mana. And this does go wide if they don't interact. And we can get the vial down and go fast. We just don't want to draw a bunch of lands. But like, this is a decent hand. I'm not going to throw this back. Again, if they have the nut draw, they have it. Like, that's one of the things you need to accept as a legacy player. There are decks out there that just have your number, and you don't, like, I see people putting all these random crappy cards in their sideboard, like, what, I need to have something for this matchup and this matchup. Like, what do you do in that matchup? And people ask me, like, why do you just play 4 of everything in your sideboard? Like, some matchups you're just not going to win, and you should accept that. Like, that you have a very low likelihood, and you should optimize for the matchups that you're likely to encounter. This is not a top 15 meta card deck right now. We just got extremely unlucky and paired into twice. Okay. So there are lessons. Oh gosh, worst possible draw, I think. I am going to go ahead and just mentor here. Sadly, there's no other play, and then we will. I have to reveal that I have something. Yeah. Well, I will reveal that I have this other Lord guy. Okay, and it's not going to give us unblockability or anything, but it will ramp up the amount of pressure we're presenting. But just to finish my thought on that, like, I think it's a mistake to try to have something in your board for every possible matchup. Yeah, that's not a big deal. It is a pretty big blocker, but it'll die to, everything, like the Lord, just like anything else. Okay, Dockhand's the second threat we can deploy. I am a little worried about Fury, and we could sink a Fury back in a hand. Is that, however, better than just having a creature on the table? I don't think it is. I'm just going to continue to go wide here. They already know about the Master. If they try to do some trick in combat, I could bounce this back to hand. Let's come across. And they could trade Squelcher for this guy, the bigger guy. They think that's important. I think they'll probably just take it and try to win. So they don't have the mana to do everything they need to do here. I think we just deploy the Dockhand, and the next turn we can sink. Because I do want to go wide. Okay, they've got tons of mana over there. The Fury is a very real possibility. They just Fury. Oh, gosh! Yeah, and I mean, even if I sink it, they just recast it. Like, it's a free pitch cast. So they hit this for 1, and then they hit everything else for 1, and we lose our entire board. So we've lost the game. We might still keep this. No, they have to hit this for 2, and then 1. Yeah, they can only take out 2 creatures, I think, actually. 2, 1, 1. Yeah, they can do. Yeah, they can take out 3 creatures here if they do it right. That's unfortunate, but like it's a 2 for 2 technically, but it's a 2 for 2 in a matchup that does not favor us the longer it goes on. The card they pitched was a Pyroblast. They probably have another Pyroblast for this, or even worse, they're just going to go get the thing that annihilates us. They may not have black. Yeah, this Chaos Defiler. So they put it in, and what I can do is I can sink it into. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and switch it out. They're going to kill this. They non-land permanent, right? They could go after our Vial, but they're probably going to go after this. They go after our Vial. Okay, so I'll sink it to super it into their hand, and then they need black mana to redeploy it. I'll take that. I'm not giving up, but I just want you to know that this is an extremely unfavorable matchup, and I know I've said that like 20 times. That's not a good draw. Yeah, I mean, what are we supposed to do here? Technically, I have to pay 2 life as well when I bounce this back to hand, but it needs to happen before they untap. I'll just deploy my hand. I will pay 2 life. This way they can't, like, because otherwise they can just swap it in and out repeatedly. So this is like the must force card if you have Force of Will in your deck, which you don't. I could just tap this down, but there's no attack that makes sense here. Playing out the Vial might do something, but it's realistically it's not going to do anything. It might give me. I think I just hold it for mystery, and I do tap down the tomb here. And it's just creatures, right? It's not permanents. Okay, so I don't have to pay the ward. But like, I think the odds of us winning the game are sub 5%. I'm just playing it out because I'm recording, and a lot of people complain that I concede prematurely, and I'm just showing you how helpless this is. All you people that complain about me conceding prematurely. Okay, and now we can start tapping that down. But if they have the painter, then that will go get the thing. Okay, they're attacking with everything, so that's 4 damage. They're clocking us, and do we want to tap that down? We probably do. If we draw a true name, it's not the end of the game. If they start making these, they're going to be tapping this to do so, and then we have the other guy. I might be able to block and do something in combat. I don't like it. And they likely have a blast anyway. They don't necessarily have a blast. I think it's better to just deny them a construct here and then be able to... No, I won't be able to bring in Hexcatcher in response. I would love to take this off the table. They could go get a Lotus Petal with this, and then they could cast the Chaos Defiler again. I don't think attacking them for 2 is where we want to be. I think we do want to tap this down to just deny them 1 turn cycle. And I don't think blocking matters here. Because, like, okay, we take one of these off the table, but yeah, I guess I just chill. Maybe they make a dude, and then I draw exactly Trickster and can take it out. Or I draw, yeah, I'm not going to tap anything down. I'm just going to keep it as a blocker. Because if I can take this off the table, at least I don't have to worry about them repeatedly using the card. The Chaos Defiler. I think this is almost certainly just going to die in combat. They're going to have some Pyroblast effect or something like that that'll stop my Hexcatcher on the stack. But like, I'll keep this back in case I can block one of these. If it prevents them from attacking, that's great. They may also have a Badlands in their deck, but they are going to combat first. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. So now they know that they dodged. I could have held it, but yeah. I think it makes sense to go ahead and tap this down now. So they're forced to make the dude now. They will. Okay. It's nice that it's out there, I guess. I guess I could have actually tapped down the red source just in case they had something, but I don't think they do. Oh, a blast, I mean. Lord of Atlantis. So if we attack... First of all, this is a 4/4. Oh, it's a 1/1? Okay. I think they're almost certainly going to cast Chaos Defiler next turn, but we can attack for at least a little bit here. They could have Bolt. So we attack here and we get like 4 damage, 6 damage. I think this is probably actually our best path forward, is just trying to aggro them. It may seem totally absurd and silly, but like, what are we going to do? Really? What are we going to do? They could actually double block here and block this, and then this dies. They could bolt. So many different things they could do here. They may just take it. That's fine. I'm very happy with that exchange. Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, I do think they just get Petal and they start blowing up our stuff again with Defiler. Now that they have the mana for them. So we get some damage here. It's not going to be enough. Yeah, they're just floating because they're going to defile us. And they can defile twice. They just use this to put them in the graveyard. Arena of Glory. Okay. Yeah, good game. Good game. Whatever. I don't want to play anymore. Like, again, I just don't want to fight that deck if I can avoid it. It's like, let's check the meta. So for the last 2 weeks, Painter's 3% of the meta. So you can expect to face it like 1 out of every... It is on the rise a little bit, probably because of Hexing Squelcher. But yeah, it's not like... I wouldn't build your board around it. You could put in Hydroblast. I think it's a lost cause. The only red deck I face is blue-red aggro, which is dropping dramatically. You don't even see Moonstompy on here, I don't think. Where is it? Moonstompy's 2%. Has risen a little bit with Squelcher. Again, people who are like, oh, they already had, Spider-Punk or whatever. You don't understand. Like, Hexing Squelcher is so much better than Spider-Punk, it's not even funny. Because it itself is uncounterable. So that's going to be a huge pain for blue decks. But yeah. Anyway. I had a fun league. I'm disappointed that we faced a horrible, unlikely matchup twice. The pilots were chill. Everybody we played against seemed really chill. I had fun playing this. I think it's a good build. Like, I think Silvergill is definitely good. It did not disappoint. There were lots of points where it went super wide. We had little tokens that we could sacrifice to the Hexcatcher, or that we could just chump, the giant constructs with. I think if we play another league and we don't face Painter, we might be able to 4-1 or even 5-0. So I'll try that. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.